had a look at that book, Ancient Egypt Did Not Exist.
Yes. Yeah, read the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. So now, in that book, what things struck you in particular?
The buried buildings that were obviously reconstructed raises the question of, like, well, there is a building under there, clearly. So I think that definitely, for somebody on the outside, would be something that convinces them of the official story.
Yeah, okay. Now, another thing is, what if they buried the building?
So when you say buried, you mean purposely and not like mud flood?
Not like a mud flood. Now, the thing is, many people have seen mud flood videos, but the thing is, they could just open up Mexico City. This is a very serious thing. They could open up Mexico City and go through Google Streets, and they can go around the entire Mexico City, because I've been around the world and I noticed this. So they can go and check and see how many mud flood buildings are they going to find in Mexico City.
Is there a lot, or are there
hardly any?
Really? Okay.
So when you find hardly any, this is when you start thinking, where is the mud flood for over there? Go to St. Petersburg, you'll find half the city is buried. Is it one flood, or was it separate floods? But now, when you're talking about Egypt, the thing is, you're forgetting it's a desert. The desert blows the sands around. 50 years, you can have something buried that's buried 10 meters deep. And also, the thing is, many people, because we live in England, we seem to assume there was a great flood called Noah's flood, because we seem to be looking back on our own Jewish backgrounds or our own Christian backgrounds, because everybody in England, if they had a Christian education back in the days, then at school, then they could say they have a Christian background. Or if they've had a Jewish education back in the days in school, then they were automatically brought up in a Jewish background. But the thing is, the Bible mentions a flood, so everybody's going to be looking at that flood. Yes.
Right.
So now the thing is, we're looking at only one part of the story here. So now, Christianity, if you consider all the atheists, Christianity actually represents a very small religion, realistically. And then if somebody's going to say, oh, what about the 200 million African Christians? It is well known that most of those Christians only became Christians in the last 100 years. So basically that means they don't exist 100 years ago. Yes. So now we've got to look at it from a point of view not of religion, but of history. I don't look at things from a religious point of view. I look at things. Is this history? Does this work historically? Is there a lot of fraud in this? That's what I normally look at.
Right.
Yes. So the thing is, first, I gave you examples of how they could forge the hieroglyphics. Have you been to Egypt?
No, I've not.
Okay, but the thing is, many people have been and they've seen the Bedouins who've not been to school. Many of them are very poor; they can't afford shoes,
Right.
and many things like that. Yes, you to imagine Egypt 100 years ago when it was even worse. Even in England, when it was in the 60s, people had just one light bulb on, no television set, nothing, and there's 10 people sleeping in a room or something, and so they're using very little electric. So now the thing is, it seems hard to believe, but this is in the book, Ancient Egypt, the book that I've sent you. The tomb of Seti the First, Seti, which is a suspicious name that sounds like Set. There's a picture here that I've sent you here, and the picture, can you see it on Messenger?
Yeah.
Now, on one side of the picture, they're showing you people decorating walls in ancient Egypt today. And those people are so-called experts. So they've been to university, but they say they're correcting something. Who knows what they're doing? But then the picture that's right beside them, we've got Bedouins who are wearing white robes, cotton robes, that are made in machines. Can you make a cotton shirt right now? So difficult, it's unbelievable. We've got these people here who were working for the Europeans, and many of them were like slaves and servants who have no idea of what hieroglyphics are, and they're just drawing things anywhere.
Right, okay.
Oh, this is called history, by the way. Yeah, so I could draw a few things, and I can say to you, hey, this is history. You don't believe me? You can't challenge me. It's because I'm in power, by the way.
Well, I suppose it's kind of like going to a cave and finding some cave paintings and then taking out your paintbrush and then starting to do more.
The cave paintings, let me tell you the fraud of the cave paintings. Many people have not been to Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, we've got thousands of people living in caves, families and children. This is in my book, Napoleon and the Mud Flood. Anybody who reads that is going to think, oh my God, I can't believe this. I'll stop just for the cave painting things. This is so important because I had so many people, turning around and talking about the caves and then wondering, well, these historians are saying this is 50,000 years old. How the hell are you going to look at a wall made of stone and turn around and say the drawing on there is 50,000 years old? It's just ridiculous. So now the thing is, what people find hard to believe is there's thousands of people in Europe, even in Italy, there were thousands of people in the 1960s living in caves. Here is a place called Karaman in Turkey, and it's got caves, people living there 100 years ago. They've come out of the cave areas, and they've built houses there, modern houses today. Yeah. The thing is that there's caves in France, there's caves in Italy. In France, there was thousands of people living there 100 years ago. So now the thing is, let's look at the reality. They're showing us these things and saying they're ancient cave drawings, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 years old. People are just becoming ridiculous. I've just sent you a few pictures of them and they're saying, are these things aliens? So now let me just show you a few simple things and you will start laughing.
Right,
Yes?
okay.
Because there's places in tourist national parks where you've got to pay to go inside these caves and they're making money. Now here's caves, you'll find them even in Israel, you'll find them in Palestine, because the Palestinians, some of them are living in caves. Even in Russia, people were living in caves in World War I and II, and here's people living in caves today in Afghanistan. And the children, when they saw the American soldiers come, they drew pictures on the walls that looked exactly the same, like these so-called aliens, ancient aliens on cave drawings. It's just a bunch of children who's drawing them. So now another thing is, you're going to say, what about the English caves? Okay, now let me just show you who was inside these caves just in the 1930s and 40s. Yes, there were so many children working inside caves who had nothing else to do, draw pictures on walls. Yes, and
When historians are looking at these pictures and they're saying, okay, this is clearly a dude in a spacesuit looking thing, that could just be a colonial soldier children have seen will come in to tell them what to do, and they've just drawn him on the wall.
It could have been just a soldier of World War I.
Right.
Or not a soldier, miners with masks on.
Oh yeah.
They're telling lies in history for no. Well, they've got an agenda, of course, but it's like a joke. But anyway, let me just show you something, and then you'll soon start to think, oh my God, this is suspicious as hell. See the hieroglyphics, and the buildings are buried. Now the thing is, here is a place in ancient Egypt, and they say we've just found it. They said we've just found this place in southern Egypt. Yes, it's a temple that's half buried. I've forgotten the name of this temple, but it's one of them that you've had a look at. What do you notice?
I'd say the blocks look pretty fresh.
100% brand new, and then the drawings have just been carved in.
And what do you reckon? They've just smashed them up a little bit to make them look old.
Yeah, and then not only that, the drawings were already drawn on metal plates or something else, and then they were stamped on. That's why many of the characters look identical. Just have a look, that you will see that the characters, as they go through, the broken stones, you'll see the lining continues. It was already broken, and then the stamping was done later. And today they've moved those blocks around and said we've restored the site. You see?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a fraud. You can see that those writings are brand new. Now, if anyone's going to say to me otherwise, they're lying. I'm not an idiot. Yeah, and they're telling us this is 4,000 or 5,000 years old.
In fact, just for people watching, I'm going to bring up which they'll know about the whole connection between the Welsh and the Egyptian hieroglyphs. And I've said this a lot of times. What is more likely, that these guys 6,000 to 10,000 years ago were writing, speaking bloody Welsh and writing on the walls in Welsh, or whoever's put these on used Welsh as the base language, for the forgery?
Yeah, the thing is, history makes money. Yes, I found the building. So this is one of the buildings that you noticed that was buried, and it looks a little old and a little damaged. Now let me send you this, and you're going to turn around and think, what the hell? This is just a total blatant forgery. Yeah, and they're telling us this is a supposed Egyptian temple. Yes, and you can see the characters have been carved on. The characters don't look old. The walls don't look old from damage from rain and things in the desert for a few thousand years. Yes, whoever built it, yes, was using these poor workers, like it is in my book. I can't describe the whole book here. The book cover, and people can find the book. It's called Ancient Egypt, or Ancient Egypt Did Not Exist. Let me just send it you, and then yeah. It depends. In some websites, it's called Ancient Egypt, or in other websites, it's called Ancient Egypt Did Not Exist. I'm not sure who's got it under what title, but it goes through the thing, and it's a total fraud. So now you're going to say, why have they done this?
You do notice in a lot of the old World's Fairs, they would do reconstructions of these buildings, you know, and there was one I remember.
The old fairs? I'm glad you brought that up. All these videos going around online like crazy. I've not bothered to talk about it. Just believe anything without checking. Yeah? What did you think of the Chicago Fair and all these other things? Let's hear your opinion. So that means you've been through it. Let's see what you've got to say.
So Chicago's World Fair is one example you brought up. I know that they claim a lot of that stuff was made with like staff, you know, it's just basically paper mache and stuff. But then
this is what they've told you, yes?
Yeah, that's what they say. But then you see there's one building that is still standing today, and it's it's made of stone. So that raises the question.
Right, one building that's still standing today. One. Oh wow! So now the thing is, there's many people now. I saw many of these videos. I thought, why doesn't anybody ever investigate Chicago World Fair? Let's just go through this. Look at this Tartarian technotech. Oh, the world was so advanced, blah blah blah. And they're saying, look, they built it. Then it's a conspiracy. They destroyed it. When you go through this, you'll soon start realizing, oh my God. Yeah, I just want you to tell me what is wrong with this photograph of the Chicago World Fair, or what is right with it. Is that an actual photograph?
Oh, is that one not a photograph?
It's not even a photograph, it's a fake drawing.
What? Oh shit, this one's just fake.
Yes, you can see it clearly. And okay, now I'll even show you. You can even have a look. Even the sun's direction, 1893 Chicago World Fair, compare it to many other 1893 photos. Look at the way the flags look brand new, even on there. And not just that, you can't see the sky. Yes, and then the building and the size of the people that are walking around and the shadows, you can tell they've combined 2-3 different photographs.
Oh, so you're saying that this shit just didn't even exist? It never existed?
I'm going to show you more now. You can even tell that these are fake photographs. Here's the Chicago World Fair. Have a look at this again. Look at all these photographs. I challenge people, yes, to actually open these photographs up. Look at the Chicago World Fair, the white building in the background. You can tell that that is a model on a table or somewhere, and they're pretending, and they've combined it with the photograph in the background. That's why the woman and the man who are looking down, they don't match with the rest of the photograph. You can see.
So you're saying all this in the background is a model, and then these people are edited in?
Yes, can you not see? So now the thing is, all these videos, yes, all these researchers, what the hell have they done? They've made thousands or even millions of people believe these things all around the world.
Well, yeah, because I know that one of these buildings, I don't know if it's the one we can see now, but it's supposed to be, if it was still standing today, it would be the second largest building in the world behind the Boeing factory.
Yeah, Boeing, you've mentioned them. I'll go through them later, but it's not a joke. Yes, people actually believe that they're real photographs. Yeah, and the thing is, have you ever seen photographs like this?
I will be doing this fair next in like the next couple of weeks, so this is a very interesting take on it.
Yeah, so the thing is, people can read all my books. Just look at this. Does that look like a real photograph to you?
I see what you mean though, because like I noticed this when I was going through. It was like one of the Vienna World's Fairs, and in foreground the flags are blurred because the camera can't catch the motion.
Who said? Because the thing is, okay, what we will do now is compare the camera technology from the 1860s, never mind 1893. Yes, the Chicago World Fair, where they would have had many cameras, multiple cameras out there to take many, many photographs. Let's have a look and they've gone out there in the middle of the desert, to Palestine, known as Arabia, known as Israel today. I mean, not Arabia. And the thing is, you can find photographs online of just how good quality the cameras were that they're taking photographs over there. The streets, the lining, the bricks, and everything.
This is where, sorry?
Is that building that they call Temple Mount. The Muslims call it Sacred Mosque, the Sacra Mosque. They're telling us it's a mosque. This is 1860. Yes, the purpose of showing you this is because you can see, one, it's a photograph, and then they do modify things. So the thing is, the Chicago World Fair pictures are even worse. Yes, that you can clearly see that they're not photographs that have been played around with. You see?
Right, okay.
Yeah, I've sent you one here. Tell the difference between a photograph and a forgery.
I would believe you if you told me that was from Team America or something and some puppets came in.
Let me send you here, and you can see quality of 100 years ago's photograph. Look at this. This is supposed to be walking to the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Yes.
And what years? What year is this photo from?
You can go through many photos. So the thing, even the pictures that I've sent you 100 years ago in Egypt, look at those quality, and then compare it to the Chicago World Fair, which is suspicious. That you can see there's a separate light shining onto the buildings in the background. It's because it's 2-3 photographs combined. You can tell it's not a realistic thing that they're telling us a story. They just built this and then they demolished it. Yeah, it's just a ridiculous story. You know, the water is like totally still. It's like just ridiculous. Yeah, and the thing is, you can't see any speck of dust, any mark or anything. And then there's at the bottom you can see there's a small canoe type of boat moving, and then you can't see any bit of the water flow moving. You'll find that in many of these suspicious pictures of the forgeries, 100 years ago. Yeah, there's many of these pictures. You can see the ancient Egyptian photographs are more clearer. A lot more clearer. How can that be possible when it's at the same time period, 1890s? It's a bit of a scam going on there. One of the biggest scams in the world. And this is just one of the biggest scams. Everyone's heard of Tutankhamun. But we go to school and we all think, whoa, Tutankhamun? Yeah, I remember from infant school and junior school. Tutankhamun, the gold mask and everything. And we think, wow. Yeah, it's just so cool back in the days. So now we're Tutankhamun, there's the mask, and they say we found it in Luxor. Yes, in the other side of the Valley of the Kings. And anyway, when somebody has a look at the Valley of the Kings, I'm sure that you went through the history, and the history was suspicious as hell. Yes, of the Valley of Kings. Now, Tutankhamun's mask. I'm going to read this very fast. Tutankhamun, they say he died at the age of 19. Yeah, they chose that age. We don't know anything. How the hell can they know it's exactly 19 and not 20? Next thing they turn around and say, the guy who found from Tutankhamun's tomb, they're turning around, they're always saying in the newspapers, the Egyptians are pissed off, and the Americans and the Europeans stole 19 items from the tomb. Yeah,
right.
So they're totally pissed off. Yeah, and then they turn around and say when Tutankhamun's tomb, it was found by a guy called Howard Carter, who's British, and they say the tomb had a curse. The guy who found the tomb and he opened it, he died from the curse. He died at this address and at 19 Collingham Gardens in London. Now they turn around and say Tutankhamun's mask, the golden mask, is 19 inches deep. Oh, it just so happened to be inches, which is a modern measurement, not ancient Egyptian. Now the thing is, they examined Tutankhamun's mask. All this is from the book. I'm just giving you screenshots. Don't worry, it's not copyright illegal because I'm sending them you myself. So his mask was examined until the 19th of November, 1925. As you've noticed, it's becoming a bit suspicious now. They turned around and said that, in the Valley of the Kings where Tutankhamun is buried, this is where the famous 19th dynasty of ancient Egypt is buried. That is the most famous dynasty in the history of ancient Egypt, and it's called the 19th dynasty. Yes, and the most famous pharaoh yes, yeah, of the 19th dynasty. He ruled for 66 years, and he was called the Pharaoh Ramesses. Everybody's heard of him. He's, we've got this king from the 19th dynasty, and he's called Pharaoh Ramesses. Oh, he just happens to be the famous Pharaoh of the Exodus. Yes? So now the strange thing is they turn around and say that the Hebrew slaves, yes, at the time, or the children of Israel, they went to Egypt in the 19th century BC, before Christ, arrived in the 19th century before Christ, and they settled down in the 19th district of ancient Egypt. A district is called Nome, 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 and the historians call them Hyksos, these ancient Israelites, and they settled down and had their capital in Avaris, and it's in the 19th district. Nothing suspicious so far about this history that they're telling us. Yes, so now they say that the Pharaoh Ramesses, when he went to fight Moses, they say this in history, it sounds like the Battle of Kadesh. And they say Battle of Kadesh is the first recorded battle in history. So it happened that the Pharaoh Ramesses fought against the Hittites, and the Hittites came with 19 armies, with their 19 allies. Nothing suspicious about this history. And then they say that the Hittites came with 19,000 soldiers. Yes?
Right.
That is, this history is totally correct. We should not find this suspicious at all. Yes? Then the thing is, they turn around and say that, Ramesses was so successful, he invaded into Libya 190 miles east. Oh, it just so happened to be, the measurement happened to be in miles, and he's invaded 190 miles east. There's nothing suspicious about this history. Anyway, this Pharaoh Ramses is buried in the Valley of the Kings, in that area in Luxor. Yes, the Valley of the Kings is a separate name of next door to where he's buried. No, he's buried in the Valley of the Kings. So next door to that is a temple. They're all in Luxor. Like you could say, Times Square is in New York, and then you could say, turn around and say Statue of Liberty is in New York, two different places. Yeah, so in Luxor now, one of the most famous temples, is Queen Hatshepsut's temple, however you want to pronounce it. Hatshepsut. Now, the strange thing about this temple, everybody turns around and says, it looks brand new, but everyone's going to say, hey, they repaired this place. Yeah, obviously, there was a temple here thousands of years ago. So now the strange thing is we can look at photographs of the same place in 1890. Not one photograph, but many. There is nothing there whatsoever. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No temple there. It seemed like I could turn around and say that I even wrote this in the book. The spaceship here with aliens from the planet Mars here. There is nothing there whatsoever.
Yeah, you've just got one tower and then what looks like a doorway. And then
Oh no! Those towers. We've got many of them in Lancashire, mining towers. Oh, those
Right.
doorways. Yeah, we've got them in Lancashire. We've got them in Yorkshire. And they had one of them towers on the Acropolis in 1860 in Egypt. You can have a look. These towers, they've got them in many places. When there's a mining site and the businessman loses money, he's still got his workers, and then he thinks, what am I going to do with this place now? It's going to become useless. What do? Yeah, you just redesign it, and when you redesign it, you just do something with the ruins there and something, and let me send you clear pictures of this so-called mining tower, and then you can see that they're constructing the temple. And while they're doing the construction, yes, you can see part of the hill collapses. Yeah, the thing is, there's no temple there whatsoever.
and these blocks coming out of the dirt look brand new.
Oh, no. They even say it on Wikipedia. We've reconstructed the place. There's nothing there. They even admit this.
What's interesting about that though is, like you say, that one there at the back is actually covered halfway up, yet
Oh, wait. Yeah, covered up. Now, before you go there, the strange thing is, why is it covered? It's because they're trying to say that we just found it like that. But how could it be partly covered up when it's brand new? And then let's go through the dimensions of the temple that partly covered up. Strange thing that you're mentioning. Let's see what's suspicious about this. There's nothing suspicious about this part that's partly covered up, because they said the bit that they covered up, we found it buried in the rock. Now here I'm going to send it you, and it's strangely buried in the rock. They turn around and say, this is the temple for the god Amun-Ra, the sun god. And guess what? It's 19 meters long. Oh, sure, I'm sure that you find nothing suspicious about this history. Nothing. They're not using a code here. No.
What would the purpose of the code be? Is it to is it a wink to people to say we're bullshitting, or is it another?
Now the thing is, this is why my books are called Tartarian. It's I don't know if your audience has ever heard of my books. So the thing is that I just went through a few things with ancient Egypt, and I'm sure because you read the book, you found the ancient Mayans there also. Who invented the ancient Mayan civilization used the same code. Are you beginning to see now?
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's like you and me, we plan something out, we're obviously going to use the same code. Yes. Now the thing is, you've not read this book yet, but soon I hope you'll be interested to read it. It's called Napoleon and the Mud Flood. But now let me send you a few things about Napoleon, and you're going to soon start thinking. In this book I show Napoleon did not exist. Napoleon Bonaparte was 19 years old when he became a soldier. Monsieur Napoleon Bonaparte, his family officially became a noble family, from the nobility on the 19th of August, 1771. You can check this from the High Council documents. Nothing suspicious about the date here now. While Napoleon's there, the French Revolution's taking place, blah, 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 and all these things, yeah. So what happens is Napoleon's got a title in the nobility. So what happens is during the French Revolution, on the 19th of June, 1790, they abolished the nobility. Now they've abolished the nobility, and then the thing is, they've abolished the nobility, and then they say, now the French Revolution is going to make wars with the whole of Europe. So now Austria and Prussia, Germany's old name was Prussia, they invaded France on the 19th of August, 1792. Their army crossed the border. Yes, you can see this, into France. Nothing suspicious about the date. But they couldn't send all their army because they were worried, because just a few weeks before, on the 19th of May, 1792, the Russians had invaded Poland. Nothing suspicious about that. This is all true history, yes? And then they turn around and say that France makes it, liberty, equality, fraternity, the law for the edict of fraternity, yes? They made this in the revolution on the 17th of November, 1792. Nothing suspicious about, 19th of November, 1792. Nothing suspicious about all these things. Then they say King Louis XVI, he was condemned to death in January 1793, monsieur, and the final decision to execute Louis XVI was taken on 19th of January. Yes? So now they're going to kill the royalty. Yes? So they make the final decision to execute King Louis and get rid of the king on 19th of January. Yes? Nothing suspicious about this. So now there's a guy called Napoleon Bonaparte. How does he become famous? He's young. Yes? He's just a soldier. So now on the British, have started to make problems with the French. So on the 19th of December, 1793, Napoleon Bonaparte, he defeats the British. Yes, in Toulon. Yes, nothing suspicious about this history. Is there anything suspicious so far?
No, nothing suspicious about this 19 appearing everywhere.
Nothing suspicious. So now let's have a look at this. So now in France, they had a different calendar than England at that time. So Napoleon Bonaparte decides to get married. Yes, according to the English calendar, it's 9th of March. But in France, they did not use the English calendar. So Napoleon gets married on the 19th of Ventosa. On the 19th of Ventosa, nothing suspicious about that. Yes?
Right.
You can see. So the more you look at this, and you go through it all, you'll find everything is suspicious in this history. So now the thing is, whoever invented this history, Napoleon Bonaparte, also invented the history of ancient Egypt. You need to see now?
See what you're getting at. And obviously,
Yeah.
you've said before that
Yeah.
this 19 appears in the Quran. So one question I have about that is,
Okay. Before we get to that, because Napoleon went to Egypt, yeah, so that because I don't want to bring up Napoleon again. Napoleon Bonaparte is famous for going to Egypt. Yeah, he leaves France on the 19th of May, 1798, to go to Egypt. He stops at Malta for a few days. They say for a week, because mysteriously the journey takes 1 month, and everyone says it's impossible for a ship to take 1 month to sail from France to it should take 1 or 2 days. So the story doesn't match, and then they say he stops in Malta, and then he sets off again to go to Egypt on the 19th of April. So now he leaves on the 19th of June. 19th, no, wait. He leaves France on the 19th of May. Then what do you call it? He plans the invasion of Malta on the 19th of April. I've just sent you that. That 1 month before he planned it, he had the invasion of Malta. Suspicious, saying this trip took too long. It's impossible for a boat to take so long. Yes, and then they said, okay, so he stopped at Malta, and then he left Malta on the 19th of June. Yes.
Yep.
So now they turn and say that it was Napoleon's army who made the biggest discovery in Egypt, or nobody knew Egypt's history. And they say they discovered the Rosetta Stone on July the 19th, 1799, Napoleon's army. And from there, we know how to translate ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics.
right, okay, so this 19 is appearing absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yes, so now the thing is that we've just named something that you know in world history in the last 5 years. That guy's name who owns Twitter.
Oh, Musk.
Yeah, okay. Is that story famous these days?
Well, yeah, pretty famous.
Oh, okay, let's just go through that story, and then you will soon start to realize, okay? This is from my book, let's see, which book is this in? Because I don't want to get this wrong. And this is from my book, it's called The Donald Trump Code. And the thing is, let me give you a few screenshots. It goes through the entire presidency of Donald Trump while he was president for 4 years, and the elections before and just a bit afterwards. So now Elon Musk, he buys Twitter. Let's just go through the full history. Yes, and then you're going to find this totally suspicious.
Okay.
Yes, you're going to find this. Well, let's see. If only somebody with a brain will find this suspicious. Yeah. So Donald Trump's Twitter account is blocked. Elon Musk buys it, and he says, "Hey, Danny, we're opening your Trump Twitter account on the 19th of November, 2020." So now, what's his name? Elon Musk. He's famous for Tesla cars and Tesla bots and artificial intelligence. How did he become famous for artificial intelligence and the Tesla bot? Yeah, because he advertised it to the world on a day he calls Artificial Intelligence Day.
Oh, no.
That is on 19th of August 2021 when it was first presented. And let's just have a look at, when they first created the internet, many young people won't know, but people who are in their 40s will know. The internet, and many people thought they will call it Internet Intelligence, II. But on purpose, they called it AI. They had a choice. It was natural to call it II, Internet Intelligence, at that time, because everyone was using computers. They didn't have mobile phone computers at that time. Computers, they were a lot slower in them days, a lot bigger. Many people don't know, but let me just show you this. Yeah, when you do simple English grammaria, artificial intelligence, they call it AI. What is AI? Have a look. What do you see? What is AI? Describe it in mathematics.
It's the number 19.
Yes, what is it? Yes, what is AI?
Oh, fuck, yeah, it's the number 19. Shit.
Yes. Now, they could have called it Internet Intelligence, but they didn't want to. Or they could have called it E-Intelligence, EI, or II, but they chose it. So now let's carry on with Elon Musk. Nothing suspicious about this guy. Yes, so last year, he announces in April that I want to buy Twitter. Who's going to support me? Straight away, The Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, 19 major investors have said, we're going to invest with you. Nothing suspicious about this news. So now the thing is, what happens in 2022? Elon Musk is now busy buying Twitter. So what happens? He wants to have artificial intelligence every year, basically, on the 19th of August. Yes. So now there's a big fuss that AI Day has been changed, but and they keep reminding people it's supposed to be on the 19th of August. So now let's see. He's about to buy. So now Elon Musk turns around and says, hey, sorry guys, I don't want to buy you anymore. Yeah, I've been messing around with you and causing speculation on the stock market. So now the thing is, Twitter takes him to court. And then the thing is, the first court hearing is on the 19th of July, 2022. Nothing suspicious. It was just naturally accidental. So now the thing is, while they're at court, yes, Twitter makes a demand. Yeah, saying that they want to have a quick trial without a jury. That they said this trial should start on the 19th of September, 2022. Nothing suspicious. They decided to choose that date. So now the thing is, what's his name? Elon Musk. The thing is, he decides to buy Twitter in October. So now let's see. Elon Musk, his story, he started to use Twitter in June 2010. Up until the day that he brought Twitter, at that moment, by that time, so far he's exactly sent 19,000 tweets until the day he owned it. Nothing suspicious about this data. He sent 19,000 tweets. Yes. So now the thing is, there were many newspapers and many journals all around the world. Like, for example, in England, we've got the Daily Telegraph, Financial Times. In America, they've got the Atlantic. The Atlantic and many other media, they tried to describe how, to show how Elon Musk brought Twitter. They described it with 19 Elon Musk tweets. Nothing suspicious about this. Yes. So now the thing is, Twitter is in trouble. Yes. And, it needs more money when Elon Musk buys it. So now Elon Musk has to invest more money into Twitter. So he needs to get some cash. What does he do? He sells $19 billion of Tesla stock. Yes.
Oh, my God.
In November. He only sells $19 billion because that's exactly how much they need. Yes. In November. And then he's got some change left over from the money. So he decides to buy a super jet Gulfstream 700, whatever that is, private jet aeroplane. When he buys it, the newspapers advertise it, the business newspapers, they want you to read it. And even if you don't want to know, they're telling you about this aeroplane. And they say, this aeroplane is for exactly 19 passengers only.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Wait till we go through this now. So now Twitter, he sold. He had to sell lots of Twitter shares to buy, not Twitter, his other company shares, Tesla shares, to save Twitter. He sold 19 million shares. There's nothing suspicious about this, is there?
No.
Now you're beginning to see.
Yeah.
So now in the ancient Egypt book, you've read that history. Now you're beginning to see. How do you know if Elon Musk really owns Twitter, or is he acting for the people?
Oh, to be fair, mate, I've thought this for quite a while, and I've said it to people that the real billionaires, the real people in control, they don't appear on TV.
Yes. Now the thing is, I don't like admitting this. My family's background, we've come from an important family, and we've been at times, because money comes and goes. At times we've been very mega wealthy. At times we've lost money, and we're lucky. So now the thing is, we know what being famous means. Now, if I will do a business like Twitter, yes, then I am always going to hide. I will find an idiot who's got lots of free time.
Exactly.
Like a playboy, so that he's not going to be married, he's got no family commitments or anything. So that this guy be my public speaker. I'll make sure this idiot is a smart one, but I'll also make sure that he's afraid of me. Betrayal means death. Telling you the truth, how the business world works. To give you an example, there is, if you've lived in China, like I've lived in China, they'll turn around and say, this is a government company. Here they'll say it's a private company. There is no difference. There really is no difference. I'm being serious to you. It's because the shareholders is the government, or if they're private shareholders, who said these private shareholders exist anyway? And if somebody's going to turn around and say, oh, we've got these 19,000 companies in the Cayman Islands. Excuse me, did you just say 19,000 companies Cayman Islands? Nothing suspicious about this? Then let's just go through it, and then you'll soon start realizing there isn't these 19,000 big shot companies, very big multi-million-dollar companies in the Cayman Islands. They're pretending. It's because they don't really want you to know that they're state-owned companies, or not the state. It's actually owned by secret people behind power. The thing is, you go through a lot of this information. You'll find it in my book. Now, the thing is, many people will say, where did David get this information from? Is he just a natural brain box? One, the thing is, yes, because my family do business, I'm always into numbers. We all learn things from somewhere. It's like this, that if you go to the Amazon forest, there's people who are living there. It's impossible that those people are going to invent a computer and they're just walking around basically naked with their making bows and arrows from wood if they can make it. They're climbing trees and hunting themselves. We know that's impossible. So now this is the important bit. Where did we get technology from? So now, unfortunately, many people won't want to know this. But I'm going to say this, yes. I started looking at the Quran after the age of 16. Yeah, we were brought up with Jewish backgrounds and Christian backgrounds in our schools. I've had a Jewish background because many of my teachers were Jewish and they educated us in the Jewish way. I could say I had a Christian background, but many of the teachers were Christian and they brought us up in a Christian way. But at the age of 16, I met these Muslims, one from Iraq, one from Palestine. And then I started reading the Quran. And then I read it, and straight away it said number 19. So I thought, it challenges you. And it turns around and says this thing. So then I turned around and thought, hey, I'm going to go and have a look what this thing is. I'm going to investigate. So I've had many years in on this. And the Quran says, go and have a look. And then you will know. And the Quran says that there's many people in power and they're telling lies. It says this, the Quran says this. It says there's lots of lies, etc. And then it challenges you and says, hey, all this is a lie, that's a lie, and everything. If you don't believe it, you can check these codes out.
Right.
Yeah? And then it tells you. So now the thing is, it starts off with that. It's from the book and the mud flood, that it goes through parts of the history of Christianity, including with Napoleon, and then it goes through the fraud in the calendar system that we know. And this is very serious in the calendars, because the calendars just doesn't make sense. So now the thing is, they turn around and tell us that Christianity officially declared Jesus Christ as the Son of God at the Council of Nicaea or the Council of Nicaea. Yeah, which is when they made the Nicene Creed. But anyway, check this out. They're telling us this happened. Yes, this happened in the year 325 AD. Seriously, they say this was 1,600, 700 years ago, but they can tell you the exact dates. They tell you it was on the 19th of June, 325 AD, where they officially declared, yes, that Jesus is the Son of God and is equal to God. Blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Can you believe it? On that date. So now they say the Emperor Constantine did this. So now let's see, when did Constantine become the Emperor of the Roman Empire? Nothing suspicious about that. Yes? Can you see? And then if you go through Constantine's life, this is the Roman Empire. Yes? So now they're telling us Constantine the Great, he first came to power, and he had to fight for 19 years until he could declare that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. Yes, it's a bit suspicious. Then he suddenly builds a new palace the great palace of Constantinople. And the strange thing is, yes, he builds it 19,000 square meters wide, and it's 33 meters descending down to the shoreline. Notice the numbers 19 and 33. So now the strange thing about Christianity, you turn around and say, this is called the Epiphany. So Epiphany simply means the day God became man. So now the thing is, the day God became man, yes? If anybody has a look at Epiphany, today it's January the 6th. But they turn around and say the calendar was changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. Yes? So, yes, and they say the original day, and it was the original Christmas, only a few people use this day, is January the 19th. January the 19th is the day that God became man.
So wait, is that supposed to be when Jesus is born, or when he's got baptized?
No, when he's baptized.
Right, baptized, right, cool.
When Jesus Christ officially revealed to the world that I am God who's become a man.
Right, okay.
Yes. So now the thing is, let's go more through Christianity. Yes. So now the thing is, Jesus Christ came back from the dead. Yes. Yes. Yep. Easter. Yes. Now, so the thing is, Easter is to represent God comes back from the dead. So now we know God became man on January the 19th. Yes. So now the thing is, yes, let's look at Easter. Many people don't know that, the way Easter is designed, yeah, the frequent dates for Easter, or the day that God came back from the dead, is April the 19th. So God became man on January the 19th, and then God came back from the dead on April the 19th.
So whoever's faked the Napoleon and the Egypt is doing the same thing here.
It's in the Bible. You're beginning to see now.
Yeah,
so now
okay.
let's go through another thing. Many people don't know which book is this in. This is in my book Illuminati Games. Let me just send you this, because I went through this, and I easily figured out history. The book Matrix Codes. Now the book Matrix Codes goes deep into explaining 19. Yes, when we go to school in England, yes, many people, as you've noticed, they don't really want to study. It's because the thing is, in mathematics, many people have noticed what they're teaching us is not even interesting. I find it boring. But anyway, let me teach you now an important thing about the number 19. Now, the number 19, yes, every 19 years, the moon comes back to exactly the same position with the same phase every 19 years. Yes, and they call it the Masonic cycle. Yes, have you heard of this before?
No, I haven't. So this is new.
Yes. So now, and another thing is, every 33 years, the sun and the moon align with the Earth, and they come back to the same position every 33 years. Did you know this?
So 19 and 33 again.
Yes, it's part of the solar moon cycle. Yes. So the thing is, it's every 33 years. Yes.
Right.
And they basically come back, every 33 years. You can find this online. It's in my books, but say there's an 11-day difference sometimes, or things like this. But the thing is, the moon, it's every 19 years. For the sun, it's every 33 years. Basically, every 19 and 33 years for the sun and the moon, they come back to their similar positions, etc. I'm going to send you basic geometry, and the thing is, basic geometry, and the thing is, have you heard of the flower of life?
Yes. Yeah.
So now, the thing is, what they don't tell us in school and other places is about the flower of life. But let's have a look at this. You'll find it on churches, on mosques, and in temples. And well, anyway, this is the basic. This is the Alpha and the Omega. Have you seen that before?
Right. Yeah. So I've seen this image before. That's on quite a lot of things, isn't it?
Yes, thousands of places around the world. The Omega, and they say this is the symbol for God. It says it in the Bible anyway. It says God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the first and the last. So Alpha is 1, and 9 is the last number. 1, 9. Notice that again. So now let me show you that Alpha and Omega. Let's break down the geometry. Yes. They say the Romans basically had this everywhere, whoever the Romans were. Yes, so this means they lied about the ancient Romans, but it doesn't mean that there's nobody in Rome. Yes, same like they lied about Donald Trump. It doesn't mean that and Elon Musk. It doesn't mean they're not there. It means that the whole story is a lie. So now this is the alpha and the omega, and I've done this geometrically. Yes. So now let me send you what the flower of life looks like. Now the flower of life, I'm just going to make it simple so that people can see, because many people don't know how it's formed. Yes. So now this is in my book, Matrix Codes. Yes, I've drawn all the diagrams to make it so simple. You read my books; it's very simple for high school. Did you notice that?
Yeah, very easy.
Yes. So now this is the flower of life. The flower of life. How do you make it? Yeah. So now the thing is, the alpha and the omega, the first one, I'll send it to you again. They turn around and say alpha and omega is God, or he is the creator. Yes. This is the first circle, and it is the center of the flower of life. So now the thing is, they turn around and say, when you have the creator, yes, the seed, God makes the seed, and then the seed grows. Yes. So the flower of life, the seed of life, and the force of life is the first one, the creator. And now we've got the seed of life, and it started growing, and then it becomes a flower. So I'm going to make it. There's many diagrams in the book. So now the alpha and the omega, God creates it, and it's the seed, and then it slowly starts becoming a flower, and it grows. Yes, and yes.
Yep.
So the first circle is the alpha and the omega. Yes, and as you've noticed, there's numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So now the thing is, we've got a second circle. I've got them in green. First circle is in. I've put a 6 in the middle. Yes, because it's got 6 points. Yes.
Yep.
And it goes out. So now we've got 2 circles. So now, when we have the flower of life, inside the flower of life, with the alpha and the omega inside, this is what it looks like. Yes.
Yeah.
This is what it simply is. Force of life is alpha and omega, and it creates the seed of life, and then it becomes a flower, and it grows. It cannot grow any bigger. The flower can, it can send out pollen and things like that. Basically, that's its way of, having children, reproducing. But as you've noticed, the outer circle on each layer, we've got 6 markings, 6, 6, and 6. So now this is the 19 circles of the flower of life. Yes? So basically in this geometry, 19 is 666. So wait, but let me continue now. Now when we have a look at the flower of life, when it's joined together, because that's the flower of life separate. So now we've got a flower, the petals are blowing around everywhere. Yes, so when you look at it, this is geometry. This is nothing crazy. So now the flower of life, inside the flower of life, there's actually 19 circles. And then if you put them in colors, the blue is the center. Have it in white if you want the center. And then you'll notice there's 18 other circles that is around the flower of life, or 3 6s, 6, 6, and 6. You noticed? Whichever way you do it. Now, when somebody has a look at inside the flower of life, let's turn this. Let's see what you can see inside the flower of life. What do you see? You see the Star of David, but the Star of David doesn't fill the full flower of life. It still leaves blanks. But a cube actually fills the full area of the flower of life. Can you see it?
Yeah.
In geometry. So now the thing is, when you turn that cube 3-dimensional, because it's 3-dimensional now, yes, the flower of life is 1 dimension. But we've got to look at things in 3 dimensions. On the first dimension is 19. This is like when you're painting. But when something comes out of the picture, it's 3-dimensional. So now in that cube, there has to be 33 overlapping round spheres or balls. Yes? Now, to make this clear, because then people are going to understand the 33rd degree, yes, in many secret organizations, and this is why in school they don't bother to teach it you. Now, the thing is, you will turn around and say, but in that cube I can only see 27 circles. This is because there's 27 full circles and there's 33, let me show you again now, because the flower of life, to show you the difference, I'm going to send this again because many people can't see it. Now here, this is the flower of life and the circles are not joined together. Have you noticed the white circles with the 19?
Right.
So now I'm going to send you the same picture with the circles joined together. Yes, and they overlap. It's because some people will say, I cannot see it. So now the thing is, new picture now, you can see the circles are overlapping. Can you see? With the white circles? So now there's overlapping 33 circles. Yes? And if some people cannot see that, yeah, let me just send you another poster that makes it clear. There's one circle, and then even with the overlapping ones, with what we can see, one circle on the top, there's the one, then there's 7 on the next, and there's 19 on the next, and there's 7 again, then there's one circle again, and it makes a total of 19. Yes? So there's 19 circles, 19 circles either way, and then it makes 33 in 3 dimensions. You add it together. Let me just make this a bit easier. I've got a. But the thing is, the flower can't grow any bigger. That is the same with the human being. That is the same with everything. That the highest you can reach is the 33rd degree. You cannot go any further. Are you beginning to see?
Yeah, right.
The flower reverses after that. So humans, yes, in anything you cannot. It's the maximum something you can do. It's like the maximum speed a car can do. That speed is known as the 33rd degree. A car cannot go any faster.
Right.
Yes?
Okay.
I'm trying to find these posters, but in this poster, yeah, I've shown that there's 1, then there's 6 circles, then 19 plus 6 1, and then you get 33. Until it's not 7. Before I said 1 plus 7. Yeah. So that's 3-dimensionally. Yes, even without the overlapping, if you just put it on the table and just make it 3-dimensionally, either way, there's 33. Yes. So that is the secret of the 33rd degree, and you cannot go beyond that. It's a long story about this 33. So this is why you will find the 19 code. It means the 19 code has been put there by specialists who are masters in the 33rd degree. Are you beginning to see? Now, this is explained in my book, Matrix Codes. The thing is, I've got many books, and to understand it carefully, people have to read all. What else can I say? I cannot put thousands of pages of information in one video. Yes? So now the ancient Egypt thing, you said, what is this code there? You're beginning to see it. So I've only shown one monument. But if somebody's going to say, hey, how can he say this about ancient Egypt? Hey, in this picture, we could see a few things in the background. He's saying it's a mining thing. Hey, guys, there's many pictures. You can find them online yourself. Yeah, you could read my books if you want. Is there many pictures? Let me send you more examples of the pictures, and then you'll soon start seeing when they're constructing that place. Is just totally funny. Wait till you see these pictures. There's many. I couldn't put them all in my books, and then you'll soon start thinking, I can't believe that they've got these pictures. I'll tell you why they've got these pictures. Imagine you and me were doing a scam. Now we're going to take photographs. I'll say, in case he betrays me one day, yeah, then I'm going to grass him up. You understand? I'm going to destroy his project.
Right. Okay.
You see? Yes. So the thing is, initially there was nothing there. Here is more pictures of that place, and the thing is, it's the ruins of a mining site.
Oh, so this is now the other side of that image we saw earlier, right at the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, where it is. So there's no temple there. They're building the temple. They're bringing everything.
So that's the tower and the doorway.
They're bringing everything. Yes. So there's many pictures. I've personally seen about 20, 30 pictures of that site online. People can do a Google search and you'll see them. What the hell are these guys doing? And you'll see.
Yeah, so there. Of course, critics would say that they're just filling that up with dirt to take it out of there.
Oh, we're not talking about one site. You've seen there's hundreds of sites.
Yeah.
You can check it themselves. And there's so many pictures. Just look at this. It's just ridiculous. It starts getting ridiculous.
I see what you mean though about you've got obviously your British commander here just telling everyone what to do.
Oh, you can see him. Yeah, and the thing is,
okay, yeah, wow, right. So they've brought this stuff from outside.
I didn't have space to put it in my books. Oh, do you want to see how many workers they had? Wait till you see. They're not workers, they're slaves. Too much information. There's too much. Yeah, go through it. But I'm telling you, there's too many pictures. I will not write a book, then put 3 pictures there. And have you noticed in all my books, I've done a photograph instead of a screenshot? Because you know what they're going to say? copyrights. That's why I took photographs of the screen, and I've actually done photographs of Google so that people can check everything themselves. You know why I did that? Because the modern scam in education, they turn on and put the references on the end, and they know that people are not going to check. And that's what, and people that don't, because the average person is lazy and they don't check. It's just a joke. So there's many photographs. You'll find so many websites that you turn on and think, what the hell is going on here? They're just building this place. Wait, let me send you many more pictures. There's many photographs. Wait, let me show you. It's just an absolute joke. And the thing is, you know, well, at first I thought maybe it's just one site, but when you start seeing hundreds of sites like this, and then when you start looking at the pillars, you're saying the other pillars are buried. Oh yeah, sure, they're 100% brand new. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just that. So the thing is, you can see all these things, and there's many pictures. You'll find them all.
Yeah, no, I'll find some as well. But yeah, it's very interesting. So this site today, like you say, looks absolutely
It's
fantastic.
very important because they've just said we found Tutankhamun there, and then the full story of the Tutankhamun thing sounds like a scam. And then you've seen all the 19s. The 19 thing is an even bigger scam. Yes.
It's insane, isn't it?
Worse. It's even worse than you can imagine. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is now, we'll leave from that site and we'll move forward. What else did you notice? Yes, about ancient Egypt.
Well, I noticed the pictures at the end that you'd sent about the Sudan. You know, that it looking like that site on Sudan, and I found that really interesting.
Because that's another country, I didn't focus on that. Oh, they turned around and said that we've got these documents from France and from Italy. You know, people who went to Egypt and they've seen these things. Yes. Yeah. So they're going to say in the 17th century, 18th century, 16th century, 15th century, we've got people. Oh yeah, they went to Egypt. They saw the pyramids there. The pyramids existed at that time. They're thousands of years old. Okay, so now I'm going to send you a few shocking things. You know, yeah. So now I want you to go through this, and this is going to be really shocking. This is from my book Jesus Christ, and it's in many of the books that I showed through the forgery of the languages. Now, in the year 1800, yes, or 1789, after that, when the French Revolution started, that what do you call it? Yeah, in France is a major country in Europe. Yes, only about 10 to 12 or 13% of the people spoke French fairly, and that's only in Paris. And when you say they spoke it fairly, it's same like saying, I speak the English, monsieur. I understand the very well. Oh yes, I don't know how to speak English very well, but I speak it fairly. So now I studying master's degree in Manchester University. Oh yeah, I come to university because my English is very good. As the students are speaking like this, this is not a joke.
Right.
So
Okay.
now,
Yeah.
and the thing is, when they spoke fairly French, they spoke it even worse. So now you're telling me 90% of the people in France couldn't even speak French 200 years ago, and you're telling me now we've got an even bigger problem. So now they're telling us that the Bible was translated into French, you know, in the 1520s and 30s. Did they translate this book to French for ghosts? If 10% of the people spoke French in 300 years later, then that means nobody spoke French 300 years before the 1800. People don't speak French and you're translating the Bible. Okay, now we've got an even bigger problem.
Yeah, because they say the oldest French documents are like 800 AD, don't they? So they've gone back faking it that far.
Yes. So now the problem is when they're telling lies in history, you can smell the garbage. So now we've got all these books in French and Italian. You can smell the Bullstein. You can smell it because they're telling us people don't speak French, but you know, we sold millions of French books in the Renaissance, 15th century, 16th century, 17th century, 18th century. Hey, hang on a minute. People didn't start speaking French until the 20th century when they started going to school. Yes. So now we've got all these libraries in all these, all museums, like in France and Italy, like this one, Girolamo Library in Naples, Napoli Italiano. So it looks very good, and people can say, hey, these books are from 15th century or 16th century. It must be amazing. Let's see how many books that were printed in the 16th century. Yes, they were printing millions. But anyway, they were printing millions. But let's go through this now. Italy, yes. In 1860, this is just 150, 60 years ago. Only 2% of the people in Italy, 2% speak Italian. 98% of the people did not speak Italian.
So they're printing all these millions of books for like 2.5% of the population.
Did they really print them, or are all those books forgeries that they printed them in the 1920s? I'm being serious. Or did they make them in the 1880s?
Right.
Yes. Yes. So now, okay.
So
So now they're telling us that Italy was Christian, and they're saying the Italianos are Christian, Monsieur, Senor. Yes, and they're telling us all these stories about Italy, Milan, Genoa, Roma, Napoli, Otranto, all these Cristianos there. And then do you know what we can see? They're telling us the Bible was printed in 1607. Did they print all these millions of books for ghosts? No, sorry. I think I should be honest here. We don't want to make a mistake, yes? Because I don't want anyone to say, hey, David's wrong. The Italians were invisible. And the French were invisible. Nobody could see them. They printed all these millions of books for ghosts.
wow.
Yeah. And the reason why we can't see them is because they're invisible. And this is why people find history suspicious and all these things. But, don't worry about it. Oh, yeah. And if you think just that, even in 1960, yes, more than half the people in Italy couldn't speak Italian.
Wow.
So now the thing is, if somebody's going to turn around and say, hey, David, the history, this, that, suspicious, and they're going to say, hey, we've got these documents of people went to Egypt, they saw it. They went there in the 15th century from France. Let me tell you something now. Now, we've got a problem with Sir Paul Lucas, because anybody who reads, yes, because it's in French. So now let's have a look at Napoleon Bonaparte's birth certificate. According to historians, Napoleon Bonaparte was born on the 15th of August. I've made a mistake because he was so famous, they wrote so many books. But now, the thing is, how do we know when somebody's born? Because in those days, people didn't have a birth certificate, they had a baptism certificate. So now the thing is, Napoleon Bonaparte, when he gets married, he uses his Baptist certificate. So he has to give that in. Yes, that's why we've got a copy of it. Well, the Baptist certificate is dated 19th of July, 1782. Nothing suspicious about that, monsieur. Je pense que ça c'est très bon, monsieur, oui? Okay, now if you don't believe me, people can check this online. But the copy of the baptism certificate, because they're trying to show us, what historians want to show us is that a country called France existed, but when we look at maps, it says Gaul. So what they want to show us is that, oh no, we've had birth certificates and records for 200-300 years. So they say when he's getting married, he got a copy of his baptism certificate. So now this baptism certificate is from 19th of July. So now the strange thing is, yes, now the strange thing is, many people check this baptism certificate. Now let's look at this baptism certificate of Napoleon Bonaparte. Now the strange thing is, in that baptism certificate, what do you find? Yes, it says that this baptism certificate, it doesn't say Napoleon Bonaparte. It says Napoleon's Joseph Bonaparte. So now they've turned around and said, Napoleon's got a brother called Joseph. So now they're saying he used it. Then they're trying to say maybe he used it to change his age. But then they're trying to say on the marriage certificate he has a totally different age. So that's a lie as well. So historians are saying many different excuses because they can't explain it. But notice again, it's the 19th, and it's the number 19, and the Quran says, look for this, and you'll be able to find their scams. Yes?
Right.
You see, and then the marriage certificate, which is even worse, is dated on the French calendar 19th of Ventose. Yeah. So the thing is, it just keeps on going. This 19, just an even bigger joke.
Yeah, because like, well, the biggest question that I'd have from this is like, if you were the guys doing this, surely someone would have been like, "Hey, boss, you know the Quran tells them that we're doing this. Maybe we should pick a different number." You know?
Okay. So what do you do? Yeah. What do you do? Most people don't know this. In 1923, they told all the Muslims of Europe to get out. Do you know this?
No, I didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yes. There was many Muslims here.
So you're saying they got rid of the all the people that are going to point it out?
They just said, "Get out, or we're going to kill you."
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
So that's why when people go to a country like Morocco, they'll think, "Hey, some of these people are European, about 10%, and some of them have married the locals who have got darker skin." And if you go to Turkey, everybody notices, 1/4 of the people are actually Europeans. They've got blonde hair, blue, green eyes, and then they must have come from Germany and they got mysteriously ended up here. So they tell you this is the history of the Turkish Empire when it was all the way in Vienna. This is what they tell you. But the thing is, one, they told them to get out. Two, they've made sure nobody likes this religion. Three, they've made sure that this religion looks crazy. Four,
Yeah.
they've made sure that they've introduced groups and sects into this religion. And in England, on purpose, they're financing the groups and the sects, making sure that they can open up
Oh
their
yeah,
mosques.
yeah, yeah. Right. If anyone's thinking right now, that this sounds like a bit too crazy, I bet any money that you believe the CIA, has done this with places like Cuba and stuff, where they've gone in and caused issues. But so why wouldn't they have done it with Islam?
Okay, so we're talking about Cuba, Fidel Castro. I'm going to give you a few basic things about Fidel Castro, and then you'll soon start realizing something's going on. Senor Fidel El Castro Cuba, he resigns as the first secretary on April the 19th. Fidel Castro, back in the days, they tried to kill him, when he had his revolution in Latin Americanos, Estados Unidos de America, they wanted him dead. And so he survived with 19 people, including his brother. Yes? So now the thing is, Fidel Castro, he formally declares the revolution is socialist in Havana, in Cuba. Yes?
Oh
And he formally declares
shit!
this on April the 19th. So you'll notice these strange things. But anyway, I'm going to go through it more because in case somebody says I'm making it up. So now there's Fidel Castro. Yes? He had to, run away during his revolution, things like that. And he had to hide. And they had to hide in the mountains and other things for 19 months, senor.
Right. Okay.
Very horrible time. Yes. So now Fidel Castro, he turned around and says that he's going to resign. Yes. And that he's not going to leave the country before he steps down. And he makes the official announcement to the world on February the 19th, 2008. Yes. And when Fidel Castro has his Cuban revolution, Castro discovered that 82 rebels and they were fighting against him, and they had to fight. Yes, and only 19 of them survived and come back to their destination alive. Yes, the main data, and So Fidel Castro, he attacks the army. Yes, before he takes over Havana, and the thing is, 19 soldiers died in their barracks, and 27 were wounded. So then there is the oil embargo. Yes, the Americanos, Estados Unidos de Americanos, los gringos, Americanos, they put this, oil embargo, senor. And the oil embargo, after this, they have no oil, and everybody thinks Cuba is going to die. The Soviet Union. This is like a James Bond movie, monsieur, senor. And the Soviet Union, they sent free oil after April the 19th. So now the thing is, Fidel Castro, when he grows old, and when he resigns, he falls ill, and nobody sees him for 19 months before he dies.
What the fuck is this?
So the thing is, and one of the biggest attacks, the most famous attacks that Fidel Castro has during his revolution is El Uvero, and this is when there is 14 dead and 19 wounded, senor. Yes. So the thing is, when and then they ambush Batista. You must know the great Batista in the revolution. Yes.
Right. Wow.
So this is the time when there was 19 rebels who survived. It just goes on and on and on. And when Fidel Castro, then there is President Nixon, and he says, we'll have a meeting. So the Nixon and Castro, they arranged the meeting, and
Of
in
19th of
1959.
April.
So you found it.
Fucking
Yeah,
ridiculous, isn't it?
yeah. So when Fidel Castro starts off the Cuban Revolution, he sets off with 19 comrades, senor. Yes.
Oh no.
So the thing is, 19th of April, when he meets, Nixon, was one of the most famous days, and he's on television in the US giving his things. But let's look at the Cuban Missile Crisis. So that happened while he's there. So now this you'll find it very funny. Yes. So the thing is, they turn around and say, we're going to blockade Cuba because there's Soviet nuclear missiles there. And President Kennedy and all them, the idea for the blockade comes out on the 19th of October. The thing is, before that, when did Cuba? So Cuba and the Soviet Union allies officially on December the 19th, 1960. Yes. The thing is, so now the Americans are doing a blockade, and so Fidel Castro goes to the United Nations and makes a famous speech there. And then he says, okay, we'll remove the missiles, and he makes this announcement to the world on, November the 9th, the crisis. Yeah? So the thing is...
One sec. You just cut out. Could you just repeat that last bit?
He says we're going to remove the missiles. So now then the Americans are thinking, let's invade Cuba. And they have the Bay of Pigs incident and all them things. So what happens is that President John F. Kennedy authorizes the Bay of Pigs, and 19th of April, start looking at all the major things. So now, the thing is, they make an agreement, and then the Soviet Union, makes a conclusion and announces it to the world on September the 19th, and says, okay, we are not going to put on the island.
Just doesn't stop, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't stop. So the trade embargo, let me see. It was Eisenhower, not Kennedy. Eisenhower. I got the name wrong, so I'll send it to you again. Retaliates by is it Eisenhower? Yeah, let's see. Eisenhower State Department imposed the first trade embargo on Cuba on October the 19th. So I thought I'll correct it. It's not just John F. Kennedy. You've seen the thing is. So when at that time it was Khrushchev, who was the leader of Russia. So now Kennedy and Khrushchev. When is the time that they started talking and the Cuban Missile crisis was totally over? Here is the date. And the date is December the 19th, 1962. So now the thing is, if you've got children and you want them to pass exams and get to the top, let them learn the 33rd degree. And the 33rd degree is 19. 19 is the Alpha and the Omega. And now the thing is about the Alpha and the Omega. Now this is something, I challenge the world with this. Yeah, so now in my book, Lemuria, yes, I go through a bit more about gematria and some other things, and the forgery of the mining history. Let me just show you... the secret of the Alpha and the Omega. Wikipedia, it means cursive. Cursive means just handwriting. What people wrote down all over the world, throughout history, this is how you write down the Alpha and the Omega. Now, people don't know, throughout the world today, the Alpha is the letter A. This is why when you look at the A, it comes from the design of the Alpha and the Omega. Came from the small version of the Omega. I'll have to send you the small version of the Omega next time. Now what we're going to do is see if anybody uses the Alpha and the Omega symbol today. Letter L, symbol for Allah. The Bible, do you know what they're going to tell you? And when you go to church, the pastor is going to say, and Jesus Christ, when he prayed to his Father, Eli, Eli, Lama, and they're going to say the name of God is Eli or Elah. What sign are they trying to tell you? Because the Alpha, and they're going to say that when you write down Eli or Elah, is written down Alpha and Omega. And they're going to say, oh no, you pronounce this A with an E for God. But for everything else, it's A. You know, that's why they say Alpha and Omega. This is why you pronounce it alphabet. You will not say alphabet or alphabet. It is alphabet. Church, they're going to tell you, oh no, Jesus Christ called God Elah. But it clearly says in the Bible, God is the Alpha and the Omega, and the Alpha is the letter A. So it's Allah, and it's never been Elah or Allah. They made this up. Can you see now?
Right. Okay. So what
Yes.
would be the specific purpose of them doing that? Is that just to like drive us away from Allah and Muslims?
The thing is, I'll give you an example now. The thing is, if you're going to change something, you're going to do it for a reason. Why are you going to put fake hieroglyphics on in Egypt? There is a reason. I'll have to go through it next time. The reason is in my book called The Matrix Codes. It's about Osiris. The thing is, Osiris has got a lot to do with masonry and with masonry groups. And the thing is, many people can't figure out the secret. So now the thing is, everybody knows that the biggest group, the biggest enemy of masonry is Islam. People will try to deny it, but everybody knows that Islam is at war against Christianity and with masonry and with all these other ideologies around the world, communism and many other things. So if you're trying to find out what these people are hiding in our side of the world, if they are telling lies, many people are suspicious and they say, we don't believe this history. Okay, you know what to do. Go to the other side where they're saying, we could have told you this because we've been studying this for thousands of years because we don't like the lies that they're making up. You see, and if somebody's going to say it's not a lie, when we watch Sesame Street, I remember Sesame Street, you say, A for Alpha, this is a letter A, not a letter D, not a letter E, A for A. So now the thing is, they know that the Alpha and the Omega, it says Allah, it does not say Elah.
Okay.
They're lying. It's a clear lie. We don't need a teacher or a pastor or a historian to say how to read something. When I'm reading something, I will know it says alphabet, not alphabet. It doesn't say alphabet. It says alphabet. If I'm going to open up, if I'm going to see on gravestones, and it has those symbols, that Alpha and Omega, and a historian will say, oh, don't you know that says Elah, Elah Lama, what Christ said on the cross. Who said Christ said Elah?
Yeah, and it's like we brought up last time as well. They've done it with England because you know, all the other places still call us like Angleterre and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, if you go to Russia, they will say Anglia. They'll say Ti gavorite po angliski. Do you speak English? Ti gavorite po angliski. Angliski.
So really, we should be calling it Angleland.
Yeah, but now we call it England. Yeah, but there is another reason why it's called England. Yeah, it should be called Angleland. Yes, but there is another reason.
Land of the Angels.
Because the Arabs pronounce it Ingle. Not believe it. Yeah, you might not believe that. The Arabs pronounce it England. And the more you go to the 19th, so now I've shown you, the 19 is in Napoleon Bonaparte. It's just a total joke. It's suspicious. It's in the history of Ramesses and
it's in Castro. It's in everything. Wow, yeah, that's quite.
Same like for example, everybody knows the pyramids on the American dollar. So I can't leave this out because this is very suspicious. The entrance, the original entrance into the pyramids, whoever built it made sure that it's on the 19th floor. The center of the pyramids to go right into the heart is on the 19th layer of the masonry. Yes, you can find this. So the thing is, somebody is going to tell. And then you know, when you go to the Sphinx, it has a message for the world. You know, when you go to the pyramids, of course, everyone's going to go to the Sphinx first. The Sphinx is supposed to be the starting point, and then it has a message there in hieroglyphics. Now, the thing is, what I love about this is, you know, I put an arrow to show where this thing is. Now, the Sphinx and the message is actually from the 19th day, from day number 19. But if somebody finds that is not suspicious, it's just totally clear, yes, that that there's something suspicious going on here. So it's from the 19th day of the Egyptian civilization that they're trying to tell you a message. whoever made this is clearly telling you a message. And the Sphinx, now let me just show you a few more suspicious things about the Sphinx. The Sphinx is 19 meters wide, but somebody's going to say, oh, David, but it's 20 meters high. What people don't know is that historians, monsieur, quand le Français il allait Egypt, le Français il trouve le Sphinx comme ça. They said the Sphinx was buried 1 meter before, and then they had to dig it out. So the Sphinx was 19 meters high, and they had to dig it out 1 meter. And it was 19 meters wide. So now they're saying it's 20.
Right.
But notice
Okay.
the message to the whole world from the pyramids complex is from the 19th, and then the pyramid on the dollar, yes, is the 19th. And since we're talking about the dollar, now let me show you this, and you're just going to turn around and think, what the fuck? Cancel that. You can say, this is bullshit, man. This is just too much. Yeah. Let me just send you a few things about the dollar. And then on the dollar, you know, there's all these conspiracy people. They all think, you've seen hundreds of videos, they all show the same thing now. Illuminati, dollar, ancient Egypt, you've seen the same thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, nobody's got anything new to say. Yes? Well, not really. I've seen the same videos repeatedly again and again, and it becomes boring. So now the thing is, let me send you the American dollar. So now the American dollar, you'll find many magazines from 50, 80 years ago or something, and many people know that it's S for a snake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well what people don't know is that in the Latin alphabet, S is the number 19. And
Oh, no way.
Wait, dollar is not, it's not called solar, it's called dollars.
And dude, you've actually just made me think of something as well that somebody else brought up. So I'm just going to post this image as well so people can see it, which is, you know, the Superman logo. That's actually a snake. You know, if you look at it.
Yes. And since you're talking about Superman 2 was the most famous one, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's go through Superman. You want to go through Superman?
Let's go through Superman.
Yeah. Oh, damn. I don't have it ready. Look that. Superman 2, the famous one, just look for it, is 19. And the movie is, the history is just 19. Yeah. Yes, I found it. You don't have to cut it out. Superman 2 was released, yes, on June the 19th, 1981. Yeah. There's more about it, but the thing is, I don't have it ready. I thought I had.
Yeah, because I mean, well, the reason it brought it up for me was because I was watching another thing to do with all like numerology and stuff with the Bible, and someone was bringing up how, like, you know, the S is the serpent, is this, is that, is
right.
like.
Now let me tell you about numerology. Now the thing is, let me teach you this carefully. Is because now the thing is, you, because I don't know if you speak Japanese. Nihongo wakarimashite?
Not today, I'm afraid.
Nande wakaranai? I said, why don't you know? Can you speak Chinese? Nikai shuo poto wa?
No, unfortunately, I am monolingual.
Bukei? Weishima bukei? I said, why can't you speak it? Okay, now why did I just do that? Do you know why? It's because many people focus on the numerology and the mathematics from their side of the world.
And not
But
on the
now,
other
as I've
side.
told you, that 19 is the 33rd degree. Yes, and all the numbers come from the spectrum number from 1 to 9. Now, in every event, there's deeper numbers, and not everybody can be a mathematician. Now, the thing is, our universe is digital. So the thing is, in everything you're going to find mathematical codes. Now, in the things that we call false flag and hoaxes, you know, September the 11th, there was only 19 hijackers. Nothing suspicious about that. Yes, you know, we all believe in September the 11th now, don't we? Yes?
Yeah.
You've heard of September the 11th. Yes. Did you know it was the same story, 19 hijackers? Now, the thing is, I don't want people to become superstitious and to start thinking, hey, that it's 19 this and that. It's because there's many numbers. Now the thing is, once you start seeing the pattern of all the numbers, yes, and then you start seeing, like, I just sent you Napoleon Bonaparte. What does it say about the Sphinx? It's got the number 73. So now somebody will turn around and say, David's mentioned, it's because you've got to understand numbers a lot more. So soon when you understand them a lot more, let me just see what is it about 73? Yes, the Sphinx is 73 meters long. Now Napoleon is from France, yes?
Right.
So now the thing is 74 is Muhammad in English and Gematria. Now they made sure that they spell Muhammad with double M. Yes, but who said it's got double M? Because I noticed that many Muslims in the 1970s and 80s when they came here, they wrote Muhammad with a single M.
Right.
So now it's Wikipedia and the standard, they decided it's double M. If you want to name your child Muhammad now, yes, the hospital and the registry office, they'll go through a list and say, hey, they'll advise you saying spell it this way. So now Muhammad is 74 in English Gematria. And in French, in Mahomet, it's 73.
Right, yeah, I was literally just thinking then about the Mohammedan thing. So yeah, wow.
Yes, so Mahomet in French is 73. Now 74 is also God in English, yet without the O, because O is classified as silent. Yes.
Right.
So the thing is, it's a long story. So the thing is, the numbers have a basic meaning. So now the thing is, let me explain this to you, because many people think that if they go through Hebrew, they're going to understand. When people look at Lucifer, people will look at that word in Hebrew and they'll say, it means Satan. Who said the word Lucifer means Satan? Now the thing is, if you stop somebody, an Arab, and say, what does this mean? There's two words here, La and Sifr. The word Sifr means cipher, like a code, a secret code, and it also means zero in Arabic. In some Hebrew, you could say similar, Sifr, and then La means God, Allah.
Is it
So
saying a lack of God?
Wait, let me tell you, this is very important to do with numbers. So La Sifr means God's codes. Allah, cipher, God's codes.
Right.
So when you hear secret societies, they worship Lucifer, it means they're worshipping God's code.
So I've heard it the alternative way though, that like you said, God zero, as in it means a lack of God.
No. Cipher has got a zero means the cipher.
Right. Okay.
So to them, it means that mathematics is the God. That's why they use mathematics, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yes, that they're saying this is why if you study the Kabbalah, yes, one of the important things they want to do in the Kabbalah is they want to bring God and control him. They want to bring God down instead of going up to God. This is not hidden. You can find these things online. But so the thing is, there's many different numbers, and many people think that if you want to understand numbers, you go to Hebrew. Okay, algebra is not a Hebrew word. Now, if you don't understand Arabic, how can you understand it? Yes, and the numbers are Arabic anyway. So algebra is two words, al and Jibra. If you put that in English, it's Jibrail or Gabriel.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I see.
Yes. So now the thing is, numbers, there's complications and everything. But if you're doing a scam and you've got your own code, like Lucifer or God's codes, yes, Lucifer. Yes, so if you're playing around and you're doing these things and you're telling your people, do this on this date, do this on this time, then we will know this, and our friends all over the world, because everyone thinks there's just America. What about what's going on with the millionaires in Zimbabwe? What about what's going on with the millionaires in Argentina? What's going on with their, celebrity people, things like that? They're Hollywood stars for Argentina. What about for Venezuela? So the thing is so that these people recognize each other all over the world, their codes. Do you understand?
Right. Okay.
Yes, and then they will know which part of history is true and which part is not.
So for example, what would be the point then for the Superman 2? Are they trying to say like that?
Right. The thing is, because we're running out of time, so we'll leave that for another day.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for now, it's because it is basically been 2 hours. People want to look at this any deeper, because there's thousands of pages. I've written thousands of pages. can actually look in my books.
Yeah, it's very,
And,
very
the thing is,
interesting, man.
yeah, my books, people will find them online. And the thing is, I've sent you a few covers, but many of the titles have changed, because in some countries, when you publish them, when you translate it, the meanings are not the same. So I had to change many titles. I think these are the current titles in English. Yes, people can look for them, and they can read them in any order that they want to. It goes through the history. Same like when I was telling you the other day that people don't know, and they're surprised that in World War One, yes, there were millions of camels being used. World War One, II, and in the 19th century, that were being used in Europe, in Russia, in northern Russia, fighting against Germany. Yes, that it really changes what the Crusades would actually be. All this information, all this is in my books. Half the books deal with mathematical codes, half the books do not, so people can read through the intros and then go through and decide what they want. They'll find the same thing. Napoleon Bonaparte came to power on the 19th of Brumaire. 18th of Brumaire, he had a coup. Same with Hitler, he came to power on the 19th. You can find these things. I'm being serious. Go through it and you'll find the same thing.
Wow.
You'll think, damn, what the hell is going on here? And the Hitler one is in my book, Nazi Germany in English. In other languages, it's called Adolf Hitler. In English, the title's called Nazi Germany. And the thing is, when you go through these books, you'll turn and think, damn, it's unbelievable, because there's basic codes and then there's advanced codes. Now, what I went through with the mathematics is this. I started looking in different parts of the world because I traveled so much. On my Facebook is one of my travel videos. I've been to several thousand cities around the world. And then the thing is, I'm one of them. I like talking a lot, meeting a lot of people, and you get to learn. And I always like learning. And then the thing is, I noticed that there's so many videos, even on YouTube now, that go through many events and many things and show so many mathematical codes, amazing maths, pyramid maths, Da Vinci maths. There's so many things, biblical maths, the Indian Veda maths. You can go through so many things, coincidences, many things. It goes on and on and on until, you could say, until you realize what is universal mathematics. And they don't teach you this in school. I don't know why, but I call it a crime. I think they should be teaching this in high school. That they should show that the mathematics spectrum for numbers from 1 to 9. And then you go back to 1. Number 10 is 1, 0. Number 11 is 1, 1. Yes, so the thing is, they don't tell you 1 to 9, which is 19, and then when it's three-dimensionally, it becomes 33, and then you can't grow beyond that. That's why it's known as the 33rd degree. And they're not teaching these things in school. Now, the thing is, the Quran is speaking up about it. And of course, if it's speaking up about it, it must be the enemy. Now, the enemy, it's like if you have an enemy, yes, then your enemy knows your secrets. And your enemy is going to be speaking about them. The side of the world that we're in, I'm not telling people, hey, you become a Muslim. I'm not talking about religion here. I'm trying to say that there's something wrong with the history in our side of the world. And if we want to know, then the side of the world that is seen as the opposing enemy, because the Vatican has said for centuries, Islam's the enemy. Islam's the enemy. Donald Trump has said, I think Islam hates us. He's said this. Yes, and you look inside there, they're at war with China. Islam is at war with China. Islam is at war with communism. Islam is at war with almost every other religion and every other ideology around the world that we know. Then they're going to have all the information that is a lie coming out from these sides. Same like if there's a lie about Islam, then we will have that information in our side of the world. You see, our side of the world, we've noticed a lot of information is controlled. September the 11th doesn't make sense. They went to war in Iraq, a war for 19 years. It just doesn't make sense why they went to war in Iraq for 19 years. They started bombing Iraq on the 19th. The war started when George Bush declared war. Yes, and same in Afghanistan. The troops landed on the 19th, and the war landed for 19 years. Well, same in Vietnam. They declared war on the 19th minute after the Gulf of Tonkin incident, and the war lasted for 19 years. Nothing suspicious about these wars. Yes, the data. Oh, all this information is in my books, by the way.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's crazy. So, I mean, my next book of yours to read is the Ancient Greece one. So, I'd love to
Yes.
go over that after.
Oh yeah. Just don't be surprised by it. That goes through. Neil Armstrong arrives on the moon on the 19th of June, 1969. He arrives on the 19th, but he sets foot on the moon on the 20th. Yeah, and then 19 minutes after Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin sets foot on the moon. Let's leave this for next time.
All right. Well,
Let's
thank
call
you
it a
very
day.
much for talking to me. It's been absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant, man.